We're back in South Carolina, where Democrats will hold their primary a week after Republicans on February 27th. Our CBS News Battleground Tracker shows Hillary Clinton with a wide lead here over Bernie Sanders at 59% to 40%. Senator Sanders joins us now from Denver, Colorado. Senator, as you hear, you have quite a bit of work to do here in South Carolina. How do you expect to close the gap between you and Secretary Clinton?
Well, we have thousands of volunteers in South Carolina. We're knocking on doors, we're making phone calls. And if you look at that poll, John, what you'll see is that we have already made up a significant difference. The gap used to be much, much larger. The momentum is with us, and we're going to do quite well in South Carolina. And by the way, we are doing very, very well in Nevada as well.
You have a large share, if you look inside of the polls, you have a large share with white voters, but you're having difficulty within the African-American community. I know you've been trying to address that. Talk about what you've been trying to do and if you've been able to make any progress with African-American voters.
Well, I think we certainly have. We started off way, way, way behind with the African-American community. We have closed that gap. We still have a long way to go. We have brought on surrogates who are doing a fantastic job for us. People like Ben Jealous, the former head of the NAACP. We have Nina Turner, a former state senator from Ohio who's been out there. Keith Ellison, the co-chairman of the Progressive Caucus in the U.S. House. So we have just great surrogates out there. We are going to be speaking in African-American communities in the next week, and I think you're going to see a lot of momentum for us.
We have just a minute left. I want to ask you, what's your path when you look at the going forward to states after South Carolina? Where should those who support you be looking for you to do well?
Well, you know, I think we surprised a lot of people in Iowa. John, as you may recall, we started off there 40 or 50 points behind. We certainly surprised people in New Hampshire, and I think we're going to continue to surprise people. I'm right now speaking to you from Denver, Colorado. Last night we had a rally. We had close to 20,000 people out at that rally. So I think we're going to do very well here in Colorado. I think we're going to do well in Minnesota. I think you're going to see us doing far better across the board than people had perceived.
All right, Senator, we're going to just hold it right there. We'll be back with more from you in a moment. We're going to take this quick break. Welcome back to Face the Nation. I'm John Dickerson in Greenville, South Carolina, where CBS News held a Republican debate last night. But we're back now with more from Senator Bernie Sanders on the Democratic race. Senator Sanders, before we get back to the political questions, I want to ask you about the president's replacement for Antonin Scalia. What do you think will happen? He's going to nominate somebody, but Republicans have said they're just going to let it sit.
Well, I'll tell you, John, it is beyond my comprehension, and it just speaks to the unbelievable level and unprecedented level of Republican obstructionism against Obama from day one. This is not something that is in debate. The Constitution of the United States of America provides that the president nominates a Supreme Court justice, and then the Senate holds hearings and deliberations and votes on whether or not to approve that nomination. The idea that Republicans want to deny the President of the United States his basic constitutional right is beyond my comprehension. So I will do everything that I can to make sure that when the President makes his nomination, the Senate goes forward in as speedy a process as possible, holds the necessary hearings, and hopefully appoints and selects the president, the Supreme Court justice that the president nominates.
What levers, Senator, do the Democrats really have, though? If the Republicans are in the majority and they decide to slow walk this, what could Democrats do? How far could it go?
Well, I think we should do everything that we can, but I think the main leverage that we have is rallying the American people. Look, you could be a conservative, you can be a progressive, but you cannot allow, we cannot allow the Republican majority in the Senate to deny the president his basic constitutional right. There are very important cases that need to be heard that are not going to be determined if we do not have a ninth member of the Supreme Court. I think the issue is taking the situation to the American people. And I think fair-minded Americans, no matter what their political point of view may be, will say, this is absurd. This is obstructionism. This is not what democracy and what the Congress is supposed to be about.
Let me switch back to politics with you. When you did well in New Hampshire and the delegate counts came out, it showed that you picked up some delegates in New Hampshire, but because Hillary Clinton has so many of those superdelegates, the numbers look quite tilted in her favor. What's your overall feeling about superdelegates and their role in the nominating process?
Well, look, John, we are taking on the establishment, the Democratic establishment in virtually every state that we're running in, and most of the establishment, in fact, is with Hillary Clinton. But this is what I think. I think if we continue to do well around the country, and if superdelegates whose main interest in life is to make sure that we do not have a Republican in the White House, if they understand that I am the candidate, and I believe that I am, who is best suited to defeat the Republican nominee, I think they will start coming over to us. And I will also say this, that I think you can get a sense of the nervousness within the Clinton campaign by seeing that they are now using their super PAC money, funded largely by Wall Street, against me. So I think they understand that in this campaign, we have the momentum, and I think superdelegates are beginning to perceive that as well.
Have you heard from any of these superdelegates who are not bound? They could switch, even though they've committed themselves for the moment to Hillary Clinton. Any warming signals from any of them coming to you?
Just met with a couple last night.
Well, that sounds encouraging. Senator Sanders, we appreciate you being with us. We'll look forward to talking to you again
Thank you very much.
soon. Thank you.